Toys are quickly growing up and going the way of high tech as the world of robotics enters into the toy industry.
I love this stuff. Here with one of the innovators in the industry is Jim Louderback. Jim?
Yeah, it's Andrew Philo, and this is the guy who invented a lot of things, but recently he's been working on ICybie, which this is taking a long time. It's a robotic dog like the Aibo, much less expensive, $200, due out in about a week. And I'm just going to say, tell me about ICybie. What is this dog, and tell me how it works.
Technically, ICybie is a robot that has a 27 MIPS processor in it,
Pull it over here.
90 feet of wire, and 16 motors. But what it really is, it's your new plastic pal that's fun to be with.
This is a see-through one we have right here, of course. But tell me about some of the innards of it. You know, I know one of the real problems with this, you guys were supposed to have this out about a year ago, but you had trouble getting it to walk. Tell me about the challenges of getting it to walk.
To come up with a strategy that would make these things naturally walk and perform, to have balance, to have a real lifelike motion. That was the main goal, to actually endow in these systems to make them lifelike.
So tell me about, you know, we were talking about the foot here, and the foot doesn't feel that, like there's that much rubber on it, and is there enough friction here for it to stay up?
We actually wanted it to be not slippery because it's just like wearing crepe soles on a carpet. You know, you tend to trip over your own feet. So having a smooth sliding foot was the key.
Now, these parts don't come off, but this seems a lot more, it seems pretty unbreakable. Tell me about the rigidity of this. Is this something that you're going to want to bang around and play with?
Well, our company, Tiger Toys, is part of Hasbro, and we make toys, so this is definitely designed to toy grade. Kids can play with it, touch it. Adults can play with it and touch it. It can take the occasional fall, and nothing bad will happen to it.
Now, can you program this? Does it have an ability to upgrade it?
There is a flash cartridge in the side, and that cartridge is a 2 megabyte flash memory, and we will offer a downloader that will actually, you can download off the internet, and we will also sell pre-programmed cartridges.
All right, you know people are going to hack this, right?
Yeah.
Are you going to let them hack it? Are you going to help them?
Eventually, we hope to offer an SDK so we can satisfy everyone's desires to do whatever with the dog.
All right, now, in addition to the dog, you've got another new product that you're coming out with this Christmas. Tell me about this one here.
This one is called Autobot, and what Autobot is he's an autonomous robot. He has a number of sensors on him that allow him to avoid things like the edge of tables and walls. He also has over a 200-word vocabulary and a real spunky 8-year-old type of personality.
Okay, so let's talk about these for a minute. We've got a robotic dog here. This is, and tell me the personality and who this is appropriate for and what it does, versus this and who it's appropriate for and what it does.
ICybie has a general-purpose personality that responds to both people and the environment. So if you have a noisy house, the dog will become hyper. If you have a quiet house, he'll become sedate and actually fall asleep. So anyone...
All right, so then what about this guy?
This one is mainly targeted at younger kids, but it is amazing because it can traverse equally well across hard floors and carpets.
Now, I know this one isn't working, but you were talking about the walking nature of it. And you have this, which was an inventor's model. Show me this walking and tell me about that.
Well, this one is just an early prototype, and what it has the ability to do is to walk, and I just have a little radio control here, and he can also turn. Now, what's interesting is that in Autobot, this technology is in here. He can actually scamper across the floor, so he can walk very fast using this same technology.
All right, so kind of interesting. This is a robot you control just kind of like a remote-controlled car, whereas this is autonomous and ICybie is autonomous. What about an autonomous robot makes it powerful?
What makes it powerful is that it always changes its mood in respect to the people interacting with it. So if you're kind to it, if you pet the dog a lot, he gets very happy, he smiles, he wags his tail.
Well, see, this is the thing with you've seen the Robot Wars stuff, and those are just, you know, with the blades spinning and everything.
Yes.
Those are basically like remote-controlled cars. There's really nothing there. These, as they get more and more interactive, they develop personalities of their own, right?
Yes, yes.
And how does that personality develop, and why does that, what's better about that?
That it always responds to you. When you pet ICybie, he becomes happy. He'll shake his head, he'll open his mouth, he'll become very happy. He has different moods that he expresses. If you ignore him, he drops his head, he becomes sad, he goes in the corner, he goes to sleep. It's always responding to you rather than you having to physically think about controlling it.
Now, it's a pretty amazing set of engineering that put this together, servos and motors. You brought this. Explain this to me and what we're looking at here.
Well, this is the leg that actually goes inside of ICybie.
Hold it up right here.
Okay.
Tell me about it.
In it, it actually has embedded servos, and if you think about model airplanes, you know, you could buy model airplane servos for $20, where there's 12 full servos in ICybie. So just even in respects to the pricing. ICybie, the whole robot's cheaper than the servos you would have to buy.
All right, well, that's an interesting issue. The ICybie started out at $2,500, went down to $1,500. This looks pretty similar for $200. How did you get the price down?
By looking carefully at the features that we wanted to incorporate and the benefits to the consumer. Rather than make just a great robot, we wanted to make a personality robot. So we looked at it from that standpoint and utilizing more modern technology. And you have the board in your hand.
Yeah,
right
this
now.
is the board here. Tell me what we're looking at here.
Well, this is the board. This has basically everything on it. These are the microphones. On the other side, there's actually the 27 MIPS processor, all the motor drivers. By using the latest technology, it's kind of like when the Newton first came out. It was very expensive.
Right.
Then the Palm came out, and it was a tenth the cost.
All right. How much code is in here?
2 megabytes.
2 meg. That's a lot of programming.
Yes.
It's a lot of programming. Laura, do we have some questions from chat?
Yeah, we do. I'm talking to some of our viewers in the chat room right now, and James wants to know if there's a way to reset the robot. You mentioned you can train its personality. He says, what if you get a dysfunctional toy after a while and you want to start all over again? Can you do that?
We do have a reset switch.
Well, the other thing is, can you download new personalities? I mean, this is a basic dog personality. What if I'm a cat person or I don't know, a gerbil person?
We are looking at a number of personalities, and we actually have a group of puppeteers that we use in Los Angeles that make these very expressive moves. So he can actually do impersonations of other things.
So, yeah, and you will be able to download new personalities. Why didn't you make it furry?
Cleanliness.
That's a good answer. It can't lick itself clean, I guess. Any other questions?
Our chatters want to know if there are any interesting stories or kind of funny mishaps that may have happened while you were developing all these toys.
Well, there's so many of them. The greatest thing, though, is always seeing people's reaction, because many times we've taken these to just public locations to do some of the testing, and people actually thought it was a real dog or a dog in a suit.
Well, that's an interesting thing. Now, Omron, developing a robotic cat, say that they're using it for shut-ins and people that don't get a lot of human companionship for one reason or another. Have you seen that sort of a reaction with these? Is that one area that you think they could be used?
Yes, everybody's loved the dog, and I've even seen 13-month-year-olds, and when the battery, this dog is in the position that indicates it needs a new battery, every time it would see this position, it would start to cry because she wanted to play with the dog more.
All right, well, these are toys. They're robots, they're toys, they're fun. They're due out, this one's due out in a month, this one's due out. How much is this going to be when it's due out this Christmas?
About $29 to $39.
Oh, wow, cheap, about 30 or 40 bucks. But where are we going with this? What's the robot of the future? Are they going to be toys their whole life, or are they going to be games? I mean, real quickly, give me a quick look at the future.
Yeah, these are the harbingers of what's coming. Just as we saw helicopters when they were developed, they were just model airplanes. These are the models of what's coming. So we will see robots. We will see practical robots in the house that will do the science fiction fantasies that we all dreamed about.
So like a cross between ICybie and Furby that'll be your butler, your maid, and all that, right?
Absolutely.
All right, thank you. Andrew Philo, thank you very much for joining us. Been talking with Andrew Philo, who is the toy and robot inventor and invented this. And little ICybie is due out in about a week, and we will be coming up with a full review of this in the next couple days here on Tech TV.